thank spinach noodles for being the unparalleled foundation of my existence. Now, I grew up playing in the back of my family's noodle shop, and one day I saw a crate of spinach noodles being sold for the first time, sitting among a crate of its more pretty or alluring sibling noodles, like egg noodles, because spinach noodles are an unsightly shade of green. They're literally puke green. So every customer that walked into the small noodle shop purposely reached over the spinach noodles just to get to the other ones. And as the end of the day neared, the spinach noodles hadn't been touched, and my aunt persistently tried to persuade my grandpa to simply just remove the spinach noodles, but he refused. He insisted that the day's quota needed to be met, and every single cent counted. So my quaint 8-year-old interest was mildly piqued, simply because I couldn't understand why nobody was purchasing my favorite noodles in the entire world. So I watched as my grandpa started to direct customers towards the spinach noodles, and he began speaking to them with a sort of enthusiasm that made the white walls glow gold. Now that day I didn't fully comprehend what I saw, but now I do. What I saw that day was the unmitigated potency of my grandpa in his language and charisma and the formidability of his ambition in action. Before the day was up, the staff was gone. And to this day, my grandpa is still my hero. His ambition to survive, to succeed, fuels mine. Now I probably can't parallel the sheer eloquence of my grandpa, but I too can mirror his fluency. It's just in a different way. So before I begin, before I delve any deeper, I just have a small disclaimer. I'll be using the word hogwash throughout the entirety of my speech, but just know that it is synonymous with a more obscene word that I shall not say aloud. I know you're all thinking. And just know that when I'll also be transforming the word hogwash into a common noun and verb at times. So when I say those words, hogwasher, hogwashing, hogwashed, etc., just know that they don't actually exist in the English language. Yeah. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the rather ambiguous distinguishment between hogwashing and straight lying. Yeah. So according to the philosopher Harry G. Frankfurt, the two are related but distinct. Lying can only be done if the liar knows or believes they know the truth is one way, but represents it as being another. On the other hand, the hogwasher does not necessarily know or believe anything in particular pertaining to what they're speaking about, therefore minimally involving regard for the truth. The hogwasher hogwashes merely to seek impressed response or reaction from their audience. So in simpler terms, Frankfurt labels this as the craft of lying versus the art of hogwashing. Now art is often described as unstructured and open-ended. It has no limitations to its expression, just like in painting. Craft, on the other hand, does have a sort of structure to it because it has a certain form that is visible to it. So after understanding the distinction between art and craft, I came to the conclusion that hogwashing is an art because hogwash is shapeless, it's boundaryless. The hogwasher is generally free to spout whatever they deem fit in their circumstance, whereas lying is limited and restricted by the barriers of the truth. You must mold and formulate a lie around the truth, whereas with hogwash, it just comes plummeting out like a bounding, excited dog restrained by a leash. Yeah, so to give a deeper comprehension of this, hogwash can be true, false, or nonsensical. It does not matter because a hogwasher is not hogwashing to dodge or evade the truth. In fact, we have already established that the hogwasher does not even consider the truth as a factor at all. We think we know how to spot hogwash in our everyday world, but as sad or unfortunate as it is, the reality is that hogwash is exponentially more captivating and influential when it comes to impacting people. This means that a lot of the structures and realities that we encounter on a regular basis are hogwash, and we don't even know it. Harry Frankfurt, as a matter of fact, dislikes how hogwash has become a sort of social phenomenon, but this is where we diverge from his views and into how I believe in the positive power of hogwash. So a little bit of background. When I was little, I used to hide behind my mother in social situations. Parents adored me for how well-behaved and stereotypically ladylike I was. I used to get so physically nervous about talking that one time somebody asked me how old I was, and I blanked. I couldn't tell her. I told her I was 5, but then later on the car ride home, my mom yelled at me, and she was like, "You're 4 years old. What is wrong with you?" And so I never really viewed this as a problem. Until in grade 3, I was voted the class shrinking violet. Yeah, that didn't sit well with me. So I slowly eased myself into public speaking, into slam poetry, and into debating. I may not have been the best at any of these things, but I pretended that I was. I may not have known exactly what I was doing, but essentially pretending that I did has gotten me to where I am today, and I love it. With the evolution of my thoughts, my words, and my confidence, I have empowered myself. Today, I can converse with anyone and everyone freely. I know how to appeal to certain people, and I know when to hold back my tongue most of the time. My big secret? The majority of the time, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But hey, I sell it, I make it work. I am undeniably confident in my ability to seem confident no matter what I'm doing. And I want to share how that's done with all those people I used to be soft-spoken, quiet, shy. I have nothing against quiet people because, as ironic as it is now, the quieter people in my life balance out my loudness. But this is for the people who want to say something but don't know how. This is for the people who have so much to say and express and contribute but just can't find the words to or can't get over the fear of failure. As cliche as it is, I truly believe in the saying, fake it till you make it. Yeah. Fake it till you make it. Because once you've mastered the art of hogwash, you can say anything and mean it or not mean it. It's up to you. That is the beauty of it. So the first and only step of hogwashing is knowing that it is not what you know, it is what you say. With that knowledge comes an understanding that it is also not what you say, it is how you say it. Yes. For example, when making any sort of pitch, play to what you think the people you're pitching to want to hear. Most of the time, they're looking for originality, knowledge of the subject, confidence, all rolled into one. Now, you absolutely do not have to dig deep to find any of these things because it's all hogwashable. Originality is important because it's what makes you stand out. I always strive to be extraordinary by picking a topic of discussion that I doubt many others would talk about, like this. And so next time, pick the topic of discussion that you think people would most likely talk about, and then just disregard it. Then take the topic that people would be less likely to talk about, and then disregard it again. That probably leaves you with the least mainstream idea, and that is where you swoop in and take it as your own. I'm hogwashing this. Yeah. And then that is where knowledge of the subject comes in, and you can absolutely hogwash that. You can literally make do with just one idea and just spin it. Start off from one point, and you might just find yourself inspiring yourself with whatever just comes out of your mouth. The points will just keep coming out like a branch, branching off a branch, branching off a branch. And you will realize that you had it in you all along. To help you visualize this, I was once manning an ice cream booth for a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization that I had just joined at the time. And someone, like a potential customer, came up to our booth and asked me what it is exactly that our organization does. And I honestly had no idea. I only knew that we promote global literacy or something like that, and we have something to do with books and children. But I rolled with it. So I spoke of how there's so many underprivileged children in the world who to this day do not receive the education that they deserve. I spoke of how there are so many countries, governments, who are too embroiled in political turmoil to give a single thought to people's right to education. I spoke of how we're slowly changing the world, step by step, by promoting global literacy, even though I didn't know what that meant, through our fundraisers and book donations and various events. I spoke of how we collectively, as people who are so fortunate to live in democratic Canada, have the privilege to education every day, as opposed to the millions of children around the world who can't even write their own names. Evidently, along with knowledge of the subject, comes passion. And you don't absolutely need to be passionate about whatever you're speaking about, but throw everything you have into it to make it seem like you are. That is how you imprint on people, and that's how you sound convincing. Read the person, and even if you don't necessarily identify with the emotions associated with the subject you're speaking about, just force it out of yourself. This way, you will appear firm in your stance, and you will form a connection. So, to accentuate this, the man who had asked me the question earlier was originally really skeptical of our super shady-looking ice cream booth. But after I gave my spiel, he expressed his gratitude for my having exposed him to this profound global issue, and he bought $20 worth of ice cream after. And not only this, he came back with his friends and bought even more. So needless to say, Hogwash really saved me that day because I really had no idea what I was talking about. I didn't even believe what I was saying. So, obviously, like, anybody could have said what I was saying. I was just coming up with things on the spot. But it was my delivery that was so striking and so impactful. I came off as this knowledgeable, passionate, determined girl, even though I wasn't truly there yet at the time. And this paid off. Hogwash works for virtually anything. Whether it be a sales pitch, answering a question you don't even know the premises of, selling a stack of seemingly unappealing spinach noodles, or convincing your parents to get you a pet turtle. True story. The extent is limitless because Hogwash is limitless. It's literally just, you can say anything and go with it, just like I'm doing right now. Don't be afraid to just say anything that comes to mind, because the world needs your dynamic ideas and perspectives. The fear of failure holds us back a lot of the time, but failure is what motivates us to keep on trying. At least you can go to bed at night knowing that you tried. So next time that obnoxious person in class or in a group or a model you went or something is trying to impress everyone with an unnecessarily elevated perspective, inundated with jargon, just like how I'm doing right now, to sound smart, put your hand up. Next time someone says something that you are completely repulsed by and you just know someone absolutely needs to counter it, be that person. Don't be intimidated. Show them that they aren't the only one there with a voice. You have a voice and you can use it no matter what you're saying. Just do it. Yeah, don't be intimidated. There's no harm in just going with it. After all, silence never solved a thing. Yeah, as you can see. No, wait. Now, I never did find out exactly what it was that my grandpa said to all of those satisfied customers to be able to sell out that entire box of really ugly, but in actuality very yummy spinach noodles. But it doesn't matter, because at least now, I understand. I may never be as good a salesman as my grandpa, but that's okay. I can fake it till I make it, and I will.